Adding multiple variables into new single variable in SPSS using the sum function. In addition, I will show you how to use the syntax editor for command execution, and we are going to use here the compute variable command. Here I have a data extracted from exam result for 38 students answering 76 multiple choice questions. So we have here in the variable labeled module 1 student number 1 up to 38, and in the variable labeled Q1 to Q76 are the questions, question number 1 up to question number 76, and the score for each question is being inserted or recorded as either 0 or 1. 0 stands for wrong answer, 1 stands for correct answers. So to calculate the correct answer each individual student has obtained, we need to add all the columns labeled Q, or the variable Q labeled Q1 up to Q76 into a new column on the far right hand side of the data. So we need to do a combination, addition, using the sum function in SPSS. And the way to do that, if we click on transform, then we select the compute variable. So we are going to use this command, compute variable, and I'm going to reset this, and I'm going to generate a new variable, call it sum variable. So because we are going to sum, add all the variables into one variable to calculate the correct answer each individual student has answered. Again, in this window we have a numeric expression, function groups. In the function group, I'm going to click on all and then scroll down to statistical, and then from statistical select the sum and then drag the sum into the numeric expression. Again, as we can see here, sum is followed by 2 bracket and question mark, 2 question mark, and in between a comma, indicating that you could add as much variable as you want between these brackets with separated by commas. So what I will do, I will insert the first variable and put a comma after it, and then insert the second variable and then put a comma in it, and the third comma and the fourth comma, and so on until 76, and making sure that all the variables are entered in between those 2 brackets. So to save me time and the hassle, so I'm going to delete this, and I've already typed all the questions here in a Word document, Q1 to Q76, and inserting a comma between them. So I'm going to select them, and straight away I'm going to paste them here in between the 2 brackets. I had to make sure that the brackets there, these variables are entered in between these 2 brackets separated by comma, as we see here. So now if I click on OK and go to the data view, scroll to the far end, a new column or variable has been generated and called sum variables. And again, sum variables is calculating and adding all the variables together for each individual student and giving a score for the exam questions each individual obtained. So the first student has managed to answer 62 questions correctly out of 76, and the second one 58, and the third one 67 out of 76, and so on. Now, this is one of the way to add multiple variables into a single variable using the sum. We could also, in addition to using the sum, go back again into the compute variable, and instead of clicking the OK after inserting the variables and generating the target variables, instead of going for this, we can use the same window and click on paste and change the target here. Generate a new target variable, call it sum syntax, and click on paste. What happened here is that instead of executing the command, the SPSS send me into the syntax editor. In syntax editor this is the command that will execute the function of compute variable for the sum. If we look at carefully here at what is written, it say dataset activate dataset1 dot and then compute command, and then I've named to generate a new variable, naming it sum. Unfortunately it should be sum syntax equal to sum q1 up to q76 between two brackets, and then execute. To execute this, I have to select first this command. So without selecting it, you cannot execute the command. So and they click on the green arrow here, and a new column is generated with again a spelling mistake. Instead of saying sum, it's sum syntax. Again, as you can see here, it is the score for each individual, total score, total added values, correct answer for each student is calculated here. Now, using the syntax editor or syntax for command is really a useful and important part of SPSS, as it allows rerunning the analysis multiple times, or if you update your data or insert more record here. For example, instead of 38, add more student up to 200, and or inserting a new data and new scores for new students by deleting all these scores and then copy and paste new scores here. And instead of going back again into compute, transform, compute, and entering them, it's just only straight away using the syntax here to execute the command. So what I could also do is save this syntax into one of the folders. I've already done that, but I want to show you how to do that. If you select the syntax, again I will call that, I've already saved it as sum, and I'm going to call it sum function 2. Click save, and if I cancel this, and now I have this data and I did sum, and I'm going to cancel this because I'm going to rerun again the analysis. But this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to change scores for student number 1 by changing it, instead of 0 here, 1, and this is 1, and this is 1, and this is 1, and this is 1. So replacing 0 with 5, so we should expect that the total score or the total correct answer will be 63. So the quickest way, instead of going to transform, compute, and do the whole thing, putting the copy and paste and putting all the variable, is straight away go to file and then scroll down to open syntax, and then select the syntax sum function 2. This will open the editor here, and then I want to execute this command. I will select this command and click on the green arrow, again a new variable is generated with the score, total score, correct score for each individual student. And again, if we notice here that for student 2 we had modified 5 scores as a correct answers, and it's added instead of 58 into 63. So this is the advantage of using the syntax command in SPSS. It allows you to rerun the test or the command several times, and it's allow you to add more records to your data, or new data with the same in the same template using the same and fixed command here using the syntax editor. So this is one of the privilege of using the syntax command. So by here I had shown you how to add 76 variable into single variable using the transform compute variable, and then filling the expression, numeric expression, using the sum function into a new label, into a new target variable. And then I had showed you how to use how to generate a syntax code and how to rerun the test several times with modification or in different occasions.